And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 883. Today is Tuesday, February 1st, 2022, and I'm King.
And I'm Black Future Mose, and today is, and we are here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community, Monday through Friday at 10ish.
At 10ish, today's top stories: Fidelity, Bitcoin is a superior form of money. Indian government announces plans for digital rupee, 30% tax on digital assets. $2.5 billion in stolen Bitcoin from Bitfiniex hack awakens. Wonderland co-founder throws in a towel on beleaguered, I think I said that right or wrong, DeFi project. And another solo Bitcoin miner solves ballot block, becoming the fourth in 2022. But first and foremost, what's going on with those prices, Bitcoins, eh?
Oh, yeah. So taking a look at our prices for today, a lot of movement this weekend. Bitcoin at $38,325, up 1.8%. Ethereum at $2,747, up 6%. Binance Coin at $381, up 1.5% today. Cardano at a touch above $1 at $1.06 is up almost 3% today. Solana, one of the biggest gainers, $106.90 today, up 16% on news of a few different projects. XRP at 61 cents, up 3.7%. Terra Luna at 51.76 is up 4.3%. And last but not least, Polkadot's pushing Dogecoin out of the top 10 is at 1940, up 6.8%. And our biggest gainers today, Wall Street Capital, up 1,640%. Ninja Fantasy Token and Godzilla Launchpad. So again, like we always say, keep crypto weird. It's always some new projects that's going to take off, and I'm sure the dump will be even more epic.
There we go. Cedric Lemoyne, thank you for the tip. Much appreciated. Patrick Walter, Calvin Leon, Antonio, Kadeem, Satoshi, Eyes, Ray, Helen, Ali Pio, Crypto Chief, Wyatt, BK, Born Bedstein, Rays, Wendy, Finn, Sergeant Mac, M. Peacock. What's going on? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show. Top story of the day. That's right. If you don't believe us, I guess Fidelity will take over the narrative. Fidelity is saying Bitcoin is a superior form of money. That's right. It's 2022. And they're just now saying now Fidelity's trying to get on the crypto bandwagon for a while. But Fidelity has argued that Bitcoin should be considered separately from the rest of the digital asset market, as no other altcoin comes close to its properties. I saw somebody in the comment section mention that they don't think we're Bitcoin maximalists per se. It's just that we're looking at the projects itself. And that's all we're saying here, people. We are not just straight up maximalists. It's just that no other altcoin is coming close to the properties of Bitcoin. And it's pretty obvious when you look at it from the technical side of things. So again, this is Fidelity. The multinational brokerage giant released a paper on Bitcoin titled Bitcoin First. The financial services provider calls for Bitcoin to be treated separately from the rest of the digital assets. This is actually crazy to see a giant of this size come out and say, I mean, this is really providing the framework for Bitcoin to live on its own, A, and then B, hopefully it provides the beginning framework of us getting away from this whole should we tax Bitcoin. I get it. You want to go crazy on the cryptocurrencies and tax some of the altcoins and all that. All right, you might have an actual argument there, especially since the SEC is trying to say that most of these altcoins are actually securities. You might have a case there. But for Bitcoin specifically, it is literally playing a game of whack-a-mole. We've argued here it doesn't make sense. And Fidelity is coming out basically agreeing that, hey, Bitcoin is its own property. Zay, you've said this since I've known you, essentially, how Bitcoin is separate. So what are your thoughts on this and what's going on with Fidelity? You worked with them in the past.
Oh, yeah. Well, my immediate thoughts are...
Somebody shut that baby up. Gigi said, let me tell you about Fidelity.
I told y'all. I keep trying to explain this, but of course, I don't get in the way of humans being stupid. I am not an advocate for saving adults. I do that for kids. I do that for young teenagers, college students. I don't save adults from their own stupidity. You can listen to experts talk about Bitcoin by itself. You can get tired of it all you want, but if you review the tech, you would come to the same conclusion. And I have spoken with Fidelity in the past. Their digital assets group, very sharp. They have real Bitcoiners on their staff, not just crypto people in blockchain and Web3. They have real Bitcoiners on their staff. And not only that, they have people that oppose them that have come to the light over the years. They even said that in our meeting. So shout out to them. And as it says here, Bitcoin clearly possesses a lot of good qualities of money, combining the scarcity and durability of gold with the ease of use, storage, and transportability of fiat. And I was actually talking with someone on Twitter this weekend who was saying, so is Bitcoin a currency or is it an investment? And that's the best part about Bitcoin. It's both. It can be whatever you want. It is true freedom in the form of technology. And after you look at this paper, which I've reviewed already, most of it, you will start to see some of the different aspects that we've tried to explain year after year after year. And every cryptocurrency that anybody invests in, you will at some point value it in Bitcoin. It won't be valued in fiat, I believe 10, 20 years from now. So this is really just, us being ahead of the curve. And I think Fidelity does a great job breaking it down here. This chart right here is great. I'm actually thinking of putting it into some of my presentations. I have one from before, but you have to look at the aspects of money. And there's 6 aspects of money: durability, divisibility, as they show here. They also show you the portability, fungibility, scarcity, and of course, is it verifiable? And the one thing that's funny about this, if you look on the Federal Reserve website, St. Louis Federal Reserve, New York Federal Reserve, they actually put scarcity as one of the aspects of money. But fiat money is not scarce. So they're telling you that fiat currency is not good money. And Bitcoin, it has all of the aspects. The only thing is missing there is the track record. Of course, it's only 13 years old. So again, like we said before, I told you, niggas, you better get on the train now. You better understand that what money is, and that investing in Bitcoin is investing in your time and is helping you generationally. Everything else is mostly tech projects with a lot of speculation. Some of it's gambling. Some of it is being a DJ. Hey, knock yourself out. I go to Vegas twice a year myself, but it is not Bitcoin. It's totally different, and it's a separation. That's why I can't wait to go on some of these media sites to separate Bitcoin and crypto. People are still confused.
Yeah, and I just went ahead and took a screenshot of that. I do like that chart as well. And you know what? This is a pretty good read for anybody, who's new to Bitcoin and everything. One thing I do want to point out, though, and this is the crazy part about just as we stand when it comes to regulations and everything, Fidelity, only because essentially, like literally only because they pay licensing and money for compliance, which is why, again, I push back on, people coming after the influencers and everything. I'm like, you literally can just pay a licensing fee to get a fake license, whatever, and then you can talk about Bitcoin as investments. Do you all understand if any YouTuber or somebody on Twitter or anything like that come out and start saying Bitcoin first, why investors need to consider Bitcoin separately from, and we start talking about from a straight up investment point of view, financial advice, like no YouTuber is allowed to do that. But again, this is kind of what irks me about the narrative is like, yo, as far as publicly, Fidelity hasn't been in Bitcoin like that publicly. They haven't been teaching about Bitcoin for years. So why are they allowed to tell investors about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency? So that's the only thing that throws me off when it comes to some of this regulatory stuff. And again, going back to that big Kim Kardashian story about, she promoted Ethereum Max and they wanted to go after her, even though she said this isn't a investment or financial advice, people still apparently listened to her and bought it. But it's, again, they go after those people. She's getting sued, but it's just like, well, what if she has been in the market for the last 6 or 7 years and she just got one wrong, right? Whereas you look at these new companies, it's like they're not even in the market yet. They're getting in the market and they're already giving investment advice on cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I think that's kind of interesting to see how this licensing and regulations work, essentially. Like, it's crazy really to see that. Their first main paper is like investment advice to Bitcoin. Not saying nothing's wrong with it. That's some good advice, but yeah, as only the realest stays said, King, the games they play. You already know. Kadeem said, did you reach out to the brother that critiqued your book?
Yes, he said he was coming Friday. We'll see.
This Friday?
This Friday. I gave him explicit instructions. I gave him the time, the place. He may be watching now. Yeah, he's coming Friday.
I will say, if he is watching, anybody else is watching, like, hey, we ain't begging you to come on the damn show, all right? Like, this is the crazy part.
I'm not setting up, hold debates, having the model. I just come on the show. We have that show specifically for that, just for that. Fuck Bitcoin Fridays.
Right. I talked to a few people on Twitter, like, well, send me this then, or do this then, or do that. I'm like, bro, log on to YouTube on a Friday and come on the channel if you want to get on. If not, we cool regardless. Like, what? The beer is going to get drank that morning anyway. Like,
yeah, I'm not getting on your channel. I'm not going to your platform. No, you come over here or leave the argument on Twitter.
Everybody said Friday show was bananas. Yeah, Friday show was crazy. We were talking about it again today. It was pretty funny. We'll put this Fidelity article in the chat right now. Next story up, we got to talk about Indian government. Indian government is in the news as they announced plans for a digital rupee, but they're putting a 30% tax on all virtual assets. I mean, if this was California, call those cannabis if you want, but goodness gracious. I mean, people, when you really look at these percentages, just understand this. They're saying we're taking 3 cents out of every 10 cents. Do you understand? That is a crazy, that's like almost half. That's almost half. You talk about scared straight. This is the one. What's going on with the Indian Finance Ministry?
Oh man! So Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced a 30% tax on any income from the transfer of virtual digital assets, a first for the nation. Additionally, she said that the digital rupee will be issued in 2022, 2023, which is the first time the Indian government has given a timeline. Usually when they give a timeline, it's already here. They've already tested it. They've already beta tested it. They've already went through all the steps of settlement. And of course, you cannot stop Bitcoin. Really, you can't stop most crypto assets from being used and purchased. So what they decided was very smart on their part was, let's stop chasing, let's stop being a dog chasing a car. We're never going to catch it and do anything with it. So let's just tax it. Tax it 30%. No deduction in the expenditure. I am interested to see how they will tax it. Will it be based on capital gains? Will it be based on changing it back into rupees? Because again, if you buy Bitcoin and it goes down for the year, do I get 30% off?
And that's my point with the regulations and taxes. I hate to cut you off real quick, but that's what's driving me crazy. You and I both have been in this market long enough, and not just us, like anyone who's been in this market long enough has lost something. If they haven't, they're a scammer, people. They're lying to you. Yeah. Like we've been in this market. I talked about the masterclass last year. I lost out on Iron and Titan Finance trying to play the crazy DGen game. Where's the protections on that? Did I get any protections? I don't have any protections on those losses. So I don't know. It just blows my mind. This is making me crazy, Bitcoin's like.
Yeah, you know what makes me crazy is the fact that people can't see the long game here. I've always said there is one main way. There's a few, I think, but there's one main way to cut people off from being able to get Bitcoin. And that is the on-ramps. Right now, the on-ramps are fiat. Anybody can earn fiat getting a job. CBDCs, though, are different. CBDCs, digital rupee comes out. They issue it to you based on your account. If they don't like what you're doing with your account, they can cut it off with one click. Then you can't buy Bitcoin. If they see you buying it and they don't like what you're doing, or you buy too much of it, or they say that you're doing nefarious things, they can cut off the CBDC. Now you don't have anything to buy Bitcoin with. You actually have to sell goods for Bitcoin. You actually have to basically live like a Bitcoin nomad. That is one way that they can cut it off. So this is not a celebratory time for me. This is literally, they're playing the long game, and they can see that they can't stop cryptocurrency, but they can stop most people, new people, from buying it, especially if the value takes off exponentially. You do not want regular, everyday people. Let's say the truckers in Canada, they're raising Bitcoin right now. You don't want that price to 10x from here, and then their wealth is immense enough to where they don't have to listen anymore. They don't want to see that happen. But if they can cut off their bank accounts, cut off their CBDC, because even bank accounts, you can't cut off cash, but if cash is basically gone, CBDCs are a way to control it. So it's about more control, more power. Don't get fooled by the nice smiles and the ribbon cutting and all of the, we made crypto legitimate. Bullshit. That what they did was get more control, and they made it seem, they're trying to introduce it slowly, people. Again, CBDCs first started getting mentioned, 2018, we first started covering it? Yep. They do it slowly. So you forget that they're the person with the Cheshire cat grin is literally laughing at the fact that the slow game is working. You're letting it happen. So yes, this news is big, but I wouldn't say that it's inspirational and forward-looking like this dude Sumit Gupta from the Coin DCX. I know they want regulation, but they also have to understand the long game.
I mean, what else do you need to see besides the fact, folks? Zay and I partnered in 2016. We didn't start doing this show until about a year and a half after we partnered in 2017. And again, the reason why we're doing it is because there just wasn't resources out there for people who had questions about, oh my God, they said Bitcoin's for criminals today in the news. Like, it must be true. There wasn't a place you could go and look to see, hey, is this BS or is this real? But I also say that because in 2017, when we started going live, we were telling you, hey, this is real. It works. There's nothing wrong with it. Read the white paper. But the main thing we kept saying was they're not going to make it legal or tell you about this or make it mainstream until you're priced out. How do we know this information as a fact? We knew it for a fact because a very high power lawyer and legal team we spoke with, who spoke to the SEC about essentially different types of funds for retail investors and so on and so forth. They were like, forget it even being talked about. They're like, they're not even like, that is a surefire way to prison. Like, it was just like, it wasn't happening. They did not want retail investors in it. We didn't get a solid answer, but the assumption was they did not essentially want that exchange of wealth, which we've already seen, even from the Dogecoin and Shiba millionaires that popped overnight. They don't want this. So the fact that this is 2022 and they're just now saying, all right, we're finally about to do this. We're talking about doing this at a $40,000 Bitcoin. People, that's telling you, like, literally, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah.
they're just talking about getting it ready. What they really want, they are manipulating the price. When I say that, you got banksters, Wall Street folks, government regulators around the world. The price is attempted to be suppressed and manipulated. Yes. However, they can only do it for so long. When the top blows off, I think by the time we're over 100, 120K, that is literally like over 120K. Expect the very next day. If it happens on Tuesday, expect Wednesday morning for everyone in every country to have a CBDC. Expect everything to be laid out. Expect point of sale systems to be out and working. One reason why this is also true is because the pandemic relief. If you remember back in 2020, the first stimulus package was supposed to be released as a digital currency in America. Go back and read the original bill that was struck down. It was supposed to be released as a digital currency in 2020, which means America already got the shit together. We literally just haven't done it yet, but we have it together because they already had it in a House bill to give away the pandemic stimulus in a digital currency, which, by the way, would have actually worked, I think. But it would have flipped on them, which is why they didn't do it. All after they gave away their stimulus, people would have probably just went straight to buying Bitcoin instead of doing the roundabout way. But by and large, as Bitcoins, they said they're talking about it. That means it's here. But the reason why it's not here is because they don't want you to have it right now. Like literally, they know if you have it, then as you said, those truckers don't have to listen. There's so many people who don't have to listen to the so-called powers that be, which are really just a bunch of psychotic humans who just want to know everything about every other human for whatever reason. To me, that's still the most weirdest thing.
I know, Ned Flanders all over the place.
That's how you know somebody is working for the government and not working privately. Because when you do work privately and you get your own money and all that, you realize, hey, if I would wake up earlier and work harder, I can make even more money. But when you work for the government, you're getting paid. Like all you have to do is just be alive and you get money. Like, again, I was in the military. I understand these things. All you have to do is be alive and you get paid. And when all you have to do is be alive to get paid, you have time to worry about other people's finances and what other people are doing. But when you're doing it on your own, you don't have time for this. So again, there's some psychotic individuals in government. Let's see what's going on. Real talk. Thank you for the tip. Said, how did Wonderland times lose? We will be talking about Wonderland for sure. And Real Talk said, thank you for the tip. If layer two solve Ethereum issues, why doesn't Ethereum buy them out and kill the Ethereum 2 project? Ooh, good point. I gotta get Sean from Bankless, as I did see layer 2s was a future on the newsletter. What are your thoughts on that, really quick?
Well, I mean, that would kind of defeat the essence of their project. They said it would work with just development. If they just buy it out, they're no better than the current people we have now. Every time they buy out a company that's better than them, just because
it's like this. It's like this. It's like this is the reason why it's like being a walk-on out of college. Yeah, I got some experience in this. Even if you're really good as a walk-on, they give you a scholarship, they're still not going to want to play and start you, because then the athletic director and everybody's gonna be like, well, why are we hiring recruiters if people just walking on this motherfucker that's better than everybody here? They don't want that. So I think it'll be the same thing. If Ethereum were to buy or essentially use a layer 2 and it takes over, then all those VCs, all these developers, all this, everything, why are you even here at this point? You're fired. So I'm with you, Zay. It's kind of a little late in the game for them to make that swap, even if it made sense. Really quick, $2.5 billion in stolen Bitcoin from Bitfiniex hack awakens. That's right. And again, people, this is one of the powers of Bitcoin. This is the power of it. Even if you remember all that money we spent on Afghanistan or Iraq war and all weapons of mass destruction, over $1 trillion. We don't know where it went. We were doing audits in the military and sequestration and furloughs in 2013. You remember all that? Well, with Bitcoin, the Bitcoin blockchain, you can literally just go back at all these different transactions and start to figure out where it went and where it came from. And that's what's happening here. The receiving wallet address now holds more than 90,000 Bitcoin, worth about $3.6 billion. That's right. A chunk of the inactive Bitcoin stolen from in the 2016 Bitfinex exchange hack. I actually remember, that's crazy that was that long ago, has moved from the hackers' wallets to an unknown wallet on Tuesday, as detected by blockchain and analytics bot Well Alerts. 20 transactions involving the stolen Bitcoins were flagged. A sum of 0.29 Bitcoin, worth almost $2.5 billion at the time of the writing, was moved. This is more than half of the total amount seized by the hackers, which are estimated to be around 120,000 Bitcoin. What's worse than being a billionaire? Being a billionaire and not being able to spend any money. Like, this is crazy. What else is going on with this?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's amazing to see that, of course, with Bitcoin, one of the best aspects and worst aspects is the transparency. Transparency for the criminals, but it is for regular everyday people that don't want their funds watched. But this is good because they basically have around 3.6 billion, a total of 94,643 Bitcoin. And of course, they've been moving it all types of ways to try and launder it. They've moved it through Hydra, privacy focused Wasabi wallet. They've moved it through mixers. They've tried to move different coins. I think recently they moved 10,000 Bitcoins. Let's see. Yeah, they tried to move 10,000 Bitcoins worth 383 million to an unknown wallet during Asian hours on Tuesday. That's another thing about Bitcoin. Never sleeps. There is no downtime. It's either Americans are trading or Asians are trading. Like it's always going. And of course,
I love that about the market really quick. I love it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the only thing I would hate about this is that these Bitcoins are blacklisted, meaning that messes with the fungibility of Bitcoin. If there are a certain Bitcoin that's tainted, then, most people would say, hey, you can't send that to an exchange. Hey, you can't send that here. The thing is, the reason why it doesn't affect fungibility long term is because if people don't need exchanges and people are doing peer-to-peer the way
I was about to say, somebody going to take that Bitcoin.
Somebody going to take it. That's why I said if somebody is on BISC or if somebody at a conference is like, hey, I can sell you 1,000 Bitcoin and they give you a super cheap rate and they hand you a hardware wallet, that money didn't get transferred anywhere. If you do the same thing 2 years later and say, well, sell this, that, there's literally no way for them to track it or to keep up with it until somebody moves it to a custodial wallet or KYC or slips up and they find them based on their IP address. So yeah, this is very hard to do, very hard to launder, but let's say it does take 10 years for them to successfully launder. You wouldn't wait 10 years to launder $3.6 billion?
That's true, though.
In the grand scheme of things, people work their whole life and don't even get close. So if it takes 10 years, 20 years, however long it takes them, maybe somebody comes out with it.
It's true. I mean, really, you could be like, listen, at the end of the day, because here's the thing, folks, the mining is going to keep decreasing, right? So yeah, when you're looking at 0.75, 0.25 Bitcoin every 10 minutes, and like you said, somebody got a discounted one, I think even exchanges would be like, hey, that shit was dirty in 2016. We ain't got time for that. Like we running out of Bitcoin. And people doing the proof of keys day in 2 weeks. So all right, give it to me. Like I don't think it's gonna matter.
Nah.
Yeah. And then how does that even look? Like a red listed Bitcoin. Like so an exchange won't use it. I'm assuming if governments start to accept it or use a reserve, like how does that look? You like you said, you're not going to just all of a sudden, we're not going to use these 90,000 Bitcoin, even though, but here's the reason why they're trying to red list and stuff. Like I'm all for stopping crime, doing the right thing and everything. But a part of the reason why they're trying to strike this out, red list or white list or whatever you call it, the reason why they're actually trying to do that is because they're trying to give credence to another reason to why we need more Bitcoin. Like I'm telling you now, this is the long-term government regulatory play. It's like, well, we can't even use half of the regular Bitcoin anymore because they're used by criminals at one point. They've been red listed and we don't want to work with these or that and blah, blah, blah. What we could do though is fork it if everyone agrees. Okay, all the governments agree, all the regulators agree, all the banks agree. Let's go ahead and fork this bad boy, make people use this new Bitcoin. And this one, we can actually add 21 billion more Bitcoin and we can monitor it a little bit more. It'll be for your protection, people. That way, all these criminals and all this Bitcoin you can't use, even though you can, but we're telling you can't, you won't have this issue with the new Bitcoin we're going to do. Like, I can already see the play.
Yeah, it's so obvious at this point. And somebody said Bitcoin is Bitcoin sucks. It can be tracked so easy. The problem with people saying that it can be tracked and it's bad is the fact that you can protect yourself. That's the difference. It can be tracked, but you can also be anonymous or pseudo-anonymous. You have to just find the ways to do it. Education is important. You can also, if you want to, hey, trade it for Monero. I mean, if you can somehow get Monero for that Bitcoin, I mean, that's one super private cryptocurrency as well. So you have the ability to do things with it. But I think they're just waiting on technology to catch up for them to move it. So hopefully they get caught, but I don't know if it's possible.
And then really quick, what's stopping, and really quick also, the reason why these are getting red lists and stuff, I mean, they are coming from the exchange. So again, when you come, Bitcoin's pseudonymous. So if you were to hack an exchange, yeah, they'll just track the wallets of the largest wallets of Bitcoin transactions moving. It's not hard to do that. But if it's private, then it's a little bit different. But what's stopping, let's say, these wallets from swapping into Monero and then boom.
Yeah.
Is it just the amount of Bitcoin trying to actually swap that out on a platform like Changelly or whatever? Same thing. They'll be like, okay, we can't do this. This is the person using it. Is that why?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much. And they're using large amounts. If they were doing it 1 Bitcoin at a time, or 0.1 Bitcoin at a time, or 0.01 Bitcoin at a time, you know what I mean? As the value increases, it would be exponentially harder to track 10,000 addresses. You know what I mean? Like it would just like.
I think it'll also be interesting with that type of Bitcoin and money. I mean, could somebody essentially program their own mixer and just wash them themselves? Like it's so many, I don't know, just
a lot of things. Like
you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of different directions you can go in here.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, one direction that I'm glad the industry did go was that of self-regulation. People, that's why we always talk about, like, for those who are new, we're not anti-regulation or anti-law or anything like that. This is a new market. It's brand new. It's a fintech, financial and technology market. And from what we've seen, the government hasn't done a good job in the traditional market. So we're just like, you all don't even need to come over here yet. Hands off, don't touch, and let's see what happens with this. But one of the things we love about it is, like, when we say no regulation, we are all about self-regulation. We talk about different scams and stuff in the market here. Other channels talk about it sometimes. But we had to cover this story because I think this is a great example of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, the market self-regulation. But Wonderland co-founder throws in the towel on Beleaguered. Is it Beleaguered?
Yeah, I think
Beleaguered DeFi project. The DeFi debacle has caused ripples across the ecosystem as the project hit looks to wind things up. That is right. The co-founder of the embattled Wonderland decentralized finance project is preparing to pull the plug following a deeply divided community vote. On Sunday, Wonderland co-founder Danielle Sestagali tweeted that the Avalanche-based reserve currency experiment is coming to an end. He added that the divided community means that we failed. The vote to save or wind down the project came after Sestagali, had asked former partner and Wonderland Treasury head Michael Patron, who goes by the pseudonym now, of course, to step down late last week. Patron, who has changed his name on a number of occasions, that seems like an honest guy, was sensationally revealed on Thursday to be a co-founder of the defunct Canadian crypto exchange Quadriga CX, which of course was the exchange where the CEO mysteriously died and disappeared, and hundreds of millions of dollars of cryptocurrency went missing. He has also been previously convicted of credit card fraud and pleaded guilty to several related offenses in early 2000s. Oh, he guilty as hell.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. You've been on some white collar stuff from early 2000s, and then you had an exchange that goes belly up, the founder goes missing, money gone, and then you think you're going to do a DeFi experiment, as they call it.
Why didn't you just go away?
Because listen, the greed every 2 to 3 years. Why not come and try to trick some more people? But again, I want to give a shout out to the community. Hand clap, self-regulation. That's what it looks like. Call this scammer out, like Ken Bozak at a conference. But you can see here the tweets. Wonderland experiments coming to an end. It's clear the vote that the community is divided. The core and the heart of Wonderland is still in the community. If we cannot find agreement on whether to continue or not, it means that we failed. Now, one thing I also will say about this, there's not many, if any, projects stopping the gas because of a community vote. All right. What really happened is that that wasn't half. It was enough of the community that they saw, holy shit, not only are we going to lose a bunch of money on this project, but we also might get the rest of our team docs and lose money on the next projects after that. So this founder is probably like, hey, let me cut all ties out off of this scammer. We thought we had a good thing going. We can do a quick rug pull, but let's just cut all ties in general and cancel the project. The reason why I said this is why I think it is because most projects, even if they actually are a scam, as long as people don't know they're a scam, or at least the majority don't know they're a scam, it's just being talked about on forums and Reddits, they charge on. They literally charge on until an actual regulator, someone is giving them a cease and desist letter. Most of them charge on. I have not seen a project yet that because of a community vote, they're going to stop. The only time they stop is when the vote is big enough or the noise is big enough that it is actually like, no, we're going to lose money on this and mess up our reputations all in one swoop. So I'm pushing back on this. I don't think Wonderland just stopped because of a half of a vote. No, I think they stopped because people called them out for what they were, whether they knew they were that or they didn't realize they had a fox in the hen house. Regardless, they shut it down because they realized it was about to be a failed project through and through. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, it looks like Wonderland ran out of time. But their time token is now down 96% since November, all-time highs, and down over 60% since the news came out. This is at this time, failing project. And even though they got a vote to try, 55% want to keep it going. Again, I'm sure they looked at that and said, yeah, that's probably going to be a huge uphill battle we don't want to fight. And you already tainted. And there's, 16,000 crypto projects out there people can choose from. Why would they go back to a project where they know a known scammer was allowed in? And of course, on top of all of that, this whole case, like you said before, self-regulation. This is always swifter and more prone to strengthen the community once it happens. Because think about it. The Wonderland stuff came out in less than a week. He was gone. The experiment's gone. This project's dead. Everybody online is basically over it. And this dude has been called out. Now, if the SEC was investigating them, how many years would it take for them to go to court and review all their documents and to go back through quadrics? It would take maybe 3-4 years to convict this guy or get him out the paint. We got him out the paint in 2 weeks. That's all it takes, because once your moneymaker is gone, we can get you out of here. That is
true. We did get him out here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we get him out here with Twitter and Reddit, and that's it. And we get him out the paint, show facts. People in our community are very smart, very vigilant, and they understand the implications of building this up. If we get too many scammers in here, then we're going to look like it's all of us. So that's what affects any occupation you have. If most of the people working are terrible at what they do or scammers or suck, then you should probably get out of that occupation, because it's going to reflect badly on you. But we have done a great job of self-regulating and getting people out the paint, whether in person or online. So shout out to the people that helped expose this guy from Wonderland.
Yeah, and shout out to what you just said too. I mean, like, that's what it's all about, people. And that's why we're calling it out, because it is a bad look on the entire industry as a whole, especially an industry where the government came out basically like, hey, it's nothing but shadowy super coders, secret super coders, and they're all criminals over there. Like, yes, we are about self-regulation over here. And like you said, it took about a week or two and he was gone. That was quick. Happy it happened though. Asan Kotlish, thanks for the tip. Said they have a real project called Spell. That's why Spell is going to win. Okay, there we go. Hey, they was like, look, we can't miss this. If Spell is actual project, Michael Kennedy, if you're here today, let us know if Spell is one of the ones you've been talking about. Is it related to that? Because I think he actually said it a couple of times. Let's see, what else do we have? Playthrough Games said this self-regulation might take place more often. I mean, it actually does, and it's been pretty good. The issue is that this thing is international, so it's hard sometimes to track people down or find them. But again, just shout out to Kim Bozak. Years ago, back in 2017, he was at a conference. Scammer, this guy's a fucking scammer right here, y'all. Like, that has happened in this space before. Like, people at the conferences.
At the conference, they will pull up on you.
Yeah, if you ain't been to a conference yet, pull up to one where two people already had some words on Twitter and one of them calling each other scammer. Pull up to and watch how everybody act. It kind of happens. So,
hey, look at this. So this comment, Justin, from you. Are you guys bringing on the guy who was critical of Zay's book? He's been saying y'all are ducking him. Let me say it one last time.
Nobody ducking nobody ever. First of all,
nobody's ever ducking anybody.
You better go back and y'all can read some resumes. There ain't been no ducks over here.
No ducks over here. And then on top of that, like we said, we already discussed it earlier, but yeah, we invited him on. I gave him the information way back, and I gave it to him again. Again, we are not prone to go on other people's platforms to help them out with their argument because they want to argue. He brought it up. I have nothing to do with if people like the book or not. Most people do, some people don't. But if he makes a video about it, I'm not about to go over there and debate him about it. No, you can come here and talk to me, but nah, we're good. It'll be on Friday.
Not only that, like, here's the other thing with other platforms, which we talked about before too. Like, we are a cryptocurrency, Bitcoin blockchain focused channel. Like, this is like, there's not other channels talking about crypto like that at the end of the day. So it's just like, all right, we know where the conversation is going to lead back to. And in that case, we should probably be here talking about it. So unless it's like a crypto discussion, then usually doesn't make sense. S1 Dubs, thanks for that. Said they actually have to beg their viewers for likes. Y'all know that's not right when you are here every day soaking up info. Listen, it's crazy, but it's all good. Look, that's why we got to do a sponsor post still. We can't get some likes. We got to do sponsor. We're going to sponsor post y'all to death this week. Don't you worry.
Oh, yeah. First of all, I'm trying to figure out why we only got 161 likes, 271 people watching, almost at 300. And I mean, for some reason,
that song you was listening to earlier?
Hey, we got to hit it.
We only get 14, 13, get 10 more seconds. All right, cut it. We got to cut it.
Stab y'all niggas like Lamar. Be a myth. Get the likes up, people. And then I would somebody just said because we gotta make sure we always nail this down. because somebody says Bitcoin isn't superior money when it takes 10 minutes per block transaction. It does store value well, but not great money. Raphael Sullivan, you need to go study what money is, my man. And on top of that, go visit a country where they are using Bitcoin as currency and let them know how much better it is than inflation. And then because you live in a first world country with advances and privileges that others don't, you look at it that way. But because money is a great store of value, that is essentially all Bitcoin has to be, is a settlement layer, a store of value on the Lindy effect curve towards medium of exchange and unit of account. Do some more reading, my brother Raphael, because again, I've heard that argument since 2013. Well, it's a great store of value, but it's not, I can't spend it. It's not great currency. And I'm like, you do understand Lightning Network is here, and that building on top of it is just like building on top of the internet. So I don't really get that argument, but some people they got to study some more, bro.
Yeah, I hate the technical arguments because it's like, well, now that people accept it. So all you're saying is that we just have to use, like, literally the point of sale systems are here and work. Yeah. So really really even need the point of sale system. You can just have the owner download a wallet. So really what you're saying, you just have to teach your owner how to download a wallet and accept it. When people say they don't accept it, or it doesn't do this or it doesn't do that, it's like, yo, half the time people say Bitcoin does not, or Bitcoin wrong, or that, it's like, these are technical issues. The same way we had dial-up when we started internet. Remember that? Could you imagine back then with dial-up, people like, this internet thing don't work. It takes too long.
It ain't Wi-Fi.
It takes too long to connect. Like, not enough people have computers. Not enough people are using the internet. Not enough people are using email. Email takes too long to send. The internet takes too long to connect. I can't use my home phone on like really listen to yourselves. Like, honestly, this is why I don't like hanging around normal people. Like the average everyday person, I strongly dislike, because
y'all dumb as hell.
Y'all dumb. Y'all really are dumb. I'm sorry.
And then on top of that, even some of the smart people, I don't want to hang around them because they're so caught up in them being smart. They say stupid shit like this. By 2005 or so, it would become clear that the internet's impact on the economy has no greater than the fax machines. Nobel Prize winning economist Paul Krugman. So even the people who are supposed to be smartest in the room, whenever I watched this video, this dude explained it perfectly. He said the reason why you have peer review papers and everybody agrees with it, and then you have pushback against new ideas, is because there's no peers to review it. They don't have peers to review Bitcoin when it first came out, so they don't understand that something new is happening. So when you call it not money, again, you sound like Paul Krugman back in '98 talking about internet won't work and nobody will use it. Come on, man.
But again, this to me shows even a deeper problem when it comes to the culture, which is that, like, a lot of people, even in top tier positions, are scared, because if you're not scared, nothing new should shake you. Oh, we got to brand new this, we got to brand new that. We're doing this, we're doing that now. We're doing this different. If you're actually valuable and you know what you're doing, you're a subject matter expert, whatever you're great at, nothing new should scare you. You should look at new technology and be like, shit, let's see how I can use it. Like, literally, I don't get it. Every time I see a new technology come out, I'm just like, oh, this is cool. Let's see what it does. Okay, I can't afford it, or it doesn't work for me, or I can't use it. Cool. It doesn't mean the technology doesn't actually work, or is a bad technology that touches you in your sleep. Like, apparently that's what Bitcoin has done to so much of the population. Jake Fever, thank you for the tip. Said KYC wallets, Sleepy Joe coming. Heard Ledger got a KYC too. How Sway, and workarounds. Zay put that oh yeah graphic on a t-shirt. There we go.
Hey Jake, make an oh yeah sweatshirt for us, bro. I got on your the bend over right now. That's what I said. Make a oh yeah. I license it out to you.
There we go. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the internet would never be anything. You got to dial up, and it uses my phone. Like, that's how people sound like when they talk about Bitcoin to me. When Bitcoin isn't X, Y, and Z yet, it's like, bro, if you were to give me, like, whenever people have time, they say Bitcoin isn't something, or it can't do this. I'm like, honestly, with where I'm at, you can give me a 800,000. I can put some developers to work, and we can get that problem fixed. Like, these are fixable problems. You're not saying anything that's not fixable yet. Exactly. And last but not least, Bitcoin. I was gonna say, when it comes to Bitcoin not being money and everything, this is the easiest example I use. Whenever, like, cash is money, right? That's money. I say, well, if we were tomorrow were to say, instead of, again, 21 million Bitcoin, there would be 21 billion Bitcoin. Would you believe in that project then? Most people would say no. So why do we do it for cash, people? We keep printing money. And gas in SoCal is getting obnoxious right now.
And also, people need to understand the difference between money and currency. So again, people just don't know, bro. But
crazy. Yeah. All right, last but not least, a great news story. I guess Bitcoin mining is back, and mining in general. Another, and by the way, we didn't cover this last week. It was another one like last week. We didn't even cover it because we had just covered the Ethereum one. But this altogether puts up 4 already. Another solo Bitcoin miner solves a valid block. becoming the 4th in 2022. That's right, a whale solo Bitcoin miner with a whopping 1.14 pH of computing power solved a valid block on Tuesday. Hopium is back on the menu for solo Bitcoin miners, and approximate $240,000 reward for 6.25 Bitcoin. Yep, that's every 10 minutes. Was generated by yet another solo miner on Tuesday morning. This time, the odds were less than 20%, according to Khan Kalibas, a Bitcoin software engineer and administrator for CK Pool, whose name takes his initials in the 4th block find the CK Pool since January 11th. He tweeted his congratulations, of course, as you can see here. That's actually a pretty decent chance. Like less than 20% isn't as terrible as chances I've heard in the past. But what do you account to this? Like, I mean, 4 already? Like, this is crazy. You're getting 6 full Bitcoins off of mining. Now, granted, how much did that operation cost? How long they've been running the operation, so on and so forth. But the fact that it actually happened is pretty incredible. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the things people need to realize is that because the algorithm has to adjust itself, difficulty adjustment over time, it incentivizes good behavior. So more people are trying to enter into the mining market and not defeat it. So once that happens, security increases. And one thing we've seen is that even though, for example, here, 33,803 petahashes is the hash rate of the United States Bitcoin miners, there's still a chance for the medium to little guys. And of course, the mining that happens, it is not what makes Bitcoin decentralized. That is the nodes who vote on the upgrades on the actual protocol. But when you do have single miners getting these actual transactions, it actually looks great for the industry, because that basically gets rid of the notion that, well, I'm only a guy, even though 1.14 petahashes is pretty good, that's not a warehouse full of S19s. That's like a small room, right? So that means that solo miners and people that put money into this could actually mine some of these blocks. This is great promotion for Bitcoin itself, whereas it's been seen that it's only for big companies and corporations. They do get most of it, 80%, but about 20% of it is still going to the little guys, which is good, because those 6 Bitcoins could be $6 million or $60 million one day. You know what I mean? So we don't know what the value of Bitcoin will be in fiat value, but he has 6 out of 21 million Bitcoins, no matter what, based on his single block mining. So shout out to him.
There it is. Shout out. And again, actually just reached back out to JP, who was on the show for the Dr. Phil show. He's the 24-year-old miner. He's been in crypto for like 10 years or something crazy already. He has his mining operation. So I'm going to talk to him tomorrow about trying to get him on the show and possibly trying to check out his mining operation as well. That way we can do a video from there so you all can actually see a real Bitcoin mining thing. But I already have a lot of questions to ask from retail investors' point of view. I know one of the main questions we get on here are consultations from some of you all are trying to start mining farms right now in 2022. So we, of course, have said we're kind of against it because the amount of money it takes for a startup. But it looks like there might be workaround. So again, I'll be talking to him tomorrow, and we'll try to set that up as soon as possible, because I actually do want to have a full-length discussion about mining and everything, because it's kind of crazy. Other than that, you got anything else for the show, Daisy?
I believe they dropped something here and they said, how do we feel about proof of work?
I saw it. I let it go. That was a Raphael guy.
He's the same one that just mentioned about Bitcoin not being money. Well, like I said, you got a lot more reading to do, because the only thing in human history that warrants a payment or warrants you getting money is work. And in order for good money, hard money to work, you have to put in some sort of work in order to get that money. When you have proof of stake, it depends on how much money you have to make the decisions. Proof of work is how much work you have put in. And that is how good money works. That is why it follows the first law and third law of thermodynamics. That's why there's physics involved. That's why there is so much math involved with this, because this is such an elegant design. Proof of work shows you that we can take a physical version of proof of work, digging into the ground to get gold, and turn it into digital. And we basically harness the power of the sun, turned it into money, and people are complaining about proof of work uses too much energy. And that is not true either. Only 0.5% of all energy use on the entire earth is Bitcoin. So again, if you got any quarrels with proof of work or you don't understand it, you have to understand that in human history, the only thing that warrants you getting paid is proof of work. Everything else is bollocks, Cantillon effect, proof of stake. Again, whoever has the money makes the rules. And with proof of work, whoever puts in the work earns their Bitcoin, and nobody can change the rules. That's the difference.
Woo! All right, on that. Listen, first and foremost, that's why I laugh.
I'm just getting ready for Friday, man.
Hey, that's all about, bro. Let me do it. I got you.
I got you.
Come on. I got to give you your own flowers. You can't give them to yourself. All right, folks, I was about to say, because they know where I'm about to go. That's why he hyped up. People, that's what I was about to say. This is why we're confident when you call on Fridays. One, you all have no clue how much reading we actually do. We read a ton in this space. And for two, you all don't know how Zay actually talks when it comes to this space. We had to work on Zay talking normal for everybody to understand. He doesn't talk normal, folks. He's a tech guy all the way. He talks about Cantalian and Cantalian and all this other stuff that we have in the masterclass, and those were unknown to you. But no, Zay can get deep. He knows what's going on. So yeah, call in on Fridays and try it if you want. Really quick, Raphael did say, I never said Bitcoin isn't money. I just don't believe that it's superior money. Okay, all right, that's fair. We do, but okay.
What's the comparison? Is it fiat and gold? Because we just showed that chart for Fidelity. Do we need to bring that back?
Well, it's not fiat, exactly. I don't agree with fiat. But
I mean, what's better money, fiat or gold?
Hey, call in Friday, Raphael. Call in
Friday, bro, because we just showed the chart. Fidelity just
Satoshi Slim, I agree with you. He's talking about JP on the Dr. Phil show. He said he wasn't ready for Jeffrey. I personally think he should be more well-read because a person like Jeff will get you off your game by cutting you off. Young homie wasn't ready. So I saw the same thing. No, he's definitely an expert in his field as far as mining. But yeah, when it comes to the back and forth and everything, it probably was a good learning experience because yeah, you got to know what type of, like, when you're about to go into a debate, you got to kind of know what type of person you're debating. And once you know that, you can kind of like structure your debate around it sometimes. So yeah, he probably didn't realize Buddy was gonna go high and right with him, just be saying whatever. So for sure, I knew the play. I was like, oh, I know this game, dog. Other than that, make sure you smash the like and share. And we will see you all tomorrow with some more crypto news. If you haven't already, check out the masterclass for all the new folks that's here, that's asking a lot of questions. You know, how money is made, how did we get to Bitcoin, proof of work, proof of stake. We talk about it all in the masterclass. And of course, we will be updating it here in the next few weeks with an additional bonus video, more than less likely, and some more stuff on the way. Other than that, make sure, I'm still looking at the comments. This is hilarious. Make sure you smash that like and share, and we will see you all tomorrow. Some more big